Hey, how you doing, precious brothers and sisters? God has his eye on you. You're really precious to him. So go for the good things you want in life. God's going to help you out. So, I'm Michelle, and I'm reading from this book, 101 Proofs for the Existence of God. It was written by Jim Stevens. And yeah, just this wonderful person, funny and so wholesome, good person, you know. So I am going to be reading the Proof for the Existence of God, number 76, and it's called 200 Parameters for Life. So, I read through it, and it is so moving to me. I wanted to get it read today. It's actually just past 5 a.m. in the morning, so I wanted to get it done. So extraordinary, because I'm concerned if I have a busy day today, if I would be able to get it in. So we're reading it right now. Yeah. So. Let's just start. As scientists learn more and more about the world around us and the universe, they are learning how incredibly synchronized, interconnected, and interdependent every little aspect is. In fact, some are saying that according to the laws of physics and chemistry, we shouldn't even be here. In 1966, astronomer and famous promoter of science, Carl Sagan, announced that there were two requirements for life to be possible on a planet. He said you had to have a certain type of star like our sun, and you had to have your planet a certain distance from the star. Given there were 10 to the power of 27 stars in the universe. So let's clarify. What is 10 to the power of 27 stars? This means that we could say that there were 1 followed by 27 zeros worth of stars in the universe. That's 10 to the power of 27. So given that there were 10 to the power of 27 stars in the universe, that would mean that there were about 10 to the power of 24 planets where life could exist. Can you believe that? Surely we were not the only life. Our planet was just a pale blue dot, according to Sagan, tiny and insignificant. Humans were insignificant, or we were insignificant in any scheme of things. But since that time, scientists have kept discovering more and more parameters that are requirements for life to come into existence. So the definition of a parameter is a limit or a boundary or a framework. The number of parameters required went up to 10, then 20, then 50. So basically what Jim is writing here, he is saying that we have to have certain limits or boundaries, a framework that can't be affected or broken in order for our life to exist as it is. So that's what we're going to get into today. One Christian apologist, Dr. Hugh Ross, and an apologist is a person who defends Christianity through systematic discussion and reasoning. So let's hear what Dr. Hugh Ross has to say. So he is also an physicist. He has compiled 154 absolute parameters. This was in 2004, that must be met by any planet that could possibly support life, such as our lives. And that was over 10 years ago. And the list has grown since then. When what started out as 10 to the power of 24 possible planets for life, it kept shrinking and shrinking and shrinking until it hit zero. Zip. Nada. Thus, then, it kept right on going. In other words, the probability that any planet at all, even ours, could exist and support life became more and more impossible. So we shouldn't even be here, technically, is what Jim is talking about. For some great reading, look up this resource for a long list of the necessary parameters, including detailed explanation of those parameters. So Jim has put here a resource. The name of the book is called Does Life Exist on Any Other Planet in the Universe? Another look at SETI, SETI. So Jim's going to give us a few examples here. It turns out that not any other galaxy could allow life to exist. And a galaxy is an enormous grouping of stars. That's what a galaxy is. So he says, it turns out that not any old galaxy could allow life to exist. Actually, it will have to be a spiral galaxy. It will have to be a certain size, not too big and not too small. It will have to be a certain age, not too old and not too young. These facts would eliminate an estimated 90% of the galaxies as candidates for a planet that could support life. Okay, our parameters are becoming smaller. Next, some more parameters about the necessary star were discovered for life to be supported. It would have to be situated in the right location in the galaxy. It has to be located in a narrow region between the spiral arms of the spiral galaxy. If it is too close to the center, it will be destroyed because it will travel too fast and run into one of the spiral arms. If it is too far away, it will travel too slow and be destroyed as well. It can't be in one of the spiral arms either. There is a nice name given to all these amazing coincidences. The Goldilocks parameters, as in not too hot and not too cold, just right. The star has to be a single star. 75% of the stars in our galaxy are double stars or multiples, so they get eliminated. A planet can't exist for long unless the star is single due to the irregular gravity. Also, the star has to be the right size and the right mass and the right age. It can't be too hot or too cold. It can't burn erratically and send off varying amounts of energy. The star has to be formed at just the right time in the history of the galaxy, or the right chemicals for life won't exist. The planet that can support life must be in a very narrow zone around the star. It can't be too close, or it will get sucked in or burned up. Wow. It can't be too far away, or it will be too cold. It also has to be tipped on its axis approximately 23 degrees to allow for seasons and the right climate for life to grow in a large habitable zone. The planet, let's see, where am I? Here we are. Since life first began on Earth, the sun's luminosity has increased about 15%. Normally, this would destroy all living things, but because life was growing and absorbing CO2 and other greenhouse gases, it was perfectly synchronized. Life was able to flourish. A very life-supporting temperature has been maintained as life developed, and exactly because that life was developing. It never got too cold or too hot. Going too far in either direction would have started a chain reaction leading to the destruction of life. Most stars, as they revolve around the center of their galaxy, also oscillate up and down. This is bad for life because the center of a galaxy sends off lots of radiation. It is extremely fortunate for us that there are lots of cosmic dust clouds to shield our sun from the radiation coming from the center of the Milky Way, and also that our sun does not oscillate up and down too much. If it did, we'd die from radiation in a second. Obviously, we need lots of water for life. If the Earth moved just 2% closer or farther from the sun, there would be no more water. The gravitational pull of the Earth is exactly right for keeping water vapor trapped, but also amazingly and precisely right for letting methane and ammonia escape from the Earth. These gases would be deadly. A few percentage points change in that, and we all die. The Earth rotates on its axis every 24 hours. This is perfect. Any slower, and we would be frozen or toasted, depending on which side you were on. Any faster, and the winds would just blow us away. The Earth is tilted on its axis 23.4 degrees. This is again perfect. More tilt, and the climate would go crazy. Less tilt, and the amount of livable space would be very small. I wrote, Jim is saying that he wrote a whole proof for God on the unique qualities of the moon, and that was in chapter 29 of this book. It has many significant parameters that are just right. For example, if it was not an abnormally large size for a moon of the exact distance, which it is from Earth, we'd all be dead. Did you know that you owe your life to the planet Jupiter? It is estimated that Earth would be struck by large meteors 1,000 times more often if not for Jupiter, obviously resulting in huge catastrophes and death. Jupiter is just the right size and in the right position to protect the Earth. If it were bigger, it would suck us away from the sun. If Jupiter were smaller, it would not shield us as well. Jupiter and Saturn have very nice, smooth orbits, which is to our benefit. If their orbits were a little more erratic, they'd pull us out of our orbit, and you guessed it, we'd die. All the gases in our atmosphere, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and etc., seem to be in exactly the right proportions to sustain life. A little more oxygen, and we could never put out all the fires. The Earth has so many Goldilocks parameters that it is really mind-boggling. The tectonic plates are necessary. Our molten core is necessary for life. The earthquakes are necessary for life. The correct ratio between oceans and land masses is necessary. This goes on and on and on. Up to 200 parameters have been identified already, and that was 10 years ago. I'd be willing to bet, Jim says, that in the future, even more parameters are going to be discovered, thus making it more impossible that we are alive by accident. If you want to get into more of the details, I highly encourage you to go to the two sources I have referenced above or other resources that exist. Listen to this. Here is a third from the Wall Street Journal in December 2014. Science increasingly makes the case for God. All right? So you can decide for yourself, of course, what you are going to believe, but you certainly have to admit that the odds of all these factors occurring so that life could emerge are almost infinitesimally small. Dr. Hugh Ross put the odds at 1 in 10 to the power of 42. 42 zeros followed after 10. Those are the odds. There are an estimated 10 to the power of 27 stars in the whole universe. Let me write these odds out for you. Okay. One chance. Okay, so you're gonna have to listen here. One chance in 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, period. Right. He also said That was an optimistic estimate because he was generous when assigning the odds to each parameter. If one chance in 10 to the power of 42 is the chance we are here, and it all happened without God, then the reverse chances represent the odds that there is God. Come on now. Could we really be so lucky to beat the odds of 1 in 10 to the power of 42? So here's my conclusion, says Jen. There must be God. Right. All right. Wasn't that incredible? So I just really have to say thank you to Jen for putting such a book like this together. Even that one proof says it all, right? We don't need the other 100. Okay, thank you, brothers and sisters. Okay, have a good day. Okay, bye.